Hello everyone, this is Vrishali and you are watching Digital Signal Processing video. So in this unit we are going to discuss about the discrete Fourier transform, that is nothing but DFT. We will discuss different topics such as DTFT, its definition, frequency domain sampling, after that DFT and its properties, circular convolution, linear convolution. Then we will see how to compute a linear convolution using circular convolution with the help of examples. And finally, the linear filtering using overlap add and overlap save methods. So these are the different forms, or you can say transforms. That is, DTFT is nothing but discrete time Fourier transform. IDTFT is nothing but inverse discrete time Fourier transform. DFT is discrete Fourier transform. IDFT is inverse of that DFT. And the last one is FFT, that is fast Fourier transform. Let us start with the DTFT. So DTFT stands for discrete time Fourier transform, in which the signal is in discrete in time and periodic. DTFT can be represented as x of omega, which is equal to summation from minus infinity to infinity. X of n is your sequence, input sequence, into e to the power minus j omega n, where this x of n is a discrete input signal and x of omega, that is the output, is a frequency component present in the signal. Inverse of this DTFT can be given as x of n. That means you are going to get x of n, that is the input signal, from x of omega. So during DTFT, we take a summation of x of n. To calculate inverse of it, we will integrate it. So x of n can be given as 1 upon 2 pi, that is the total cycle, and x of n will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration minus pi to plus phi x of omega e to the power plus j omega n. Now the sign will reverse. While calculating DTFT, it was minus j omega n. Now you are taking inverse of that, that's why it will be plus j omega n d omega. So these are the two expressions to calculate DTFT and inverse of DTFT. So where this x of n is discrete, and in this case x of omega is continuous. So this is the reason, as the x of n is discrete, we will take a summation of it, and as x of omega is continuous, that's why we will take a integration over with respect to d omega. Now why to go for DFT if DTFT is there? DTFT is not suitable for DSP applications because in DSP we are able to compute the spectrum only at a specific discrete values of omega. Any signal in any DSP application can be measured only in a finite number of points. So for n point sequence, only n values of frequency samples of x e to the power j omega at n distinct frequency points, that is omega is equal to omega k, which are sufficient to determine the x of n and x of e to the power j omega uniquely. So that's why by sampling the spectrum x of omega in frequency domain, we can calculate the DFT, that is the discrete Fourier transform. In simple words, we can say that DFT is nothing but breaking down the input signal in various frequency components. So let us see the relation between DTFT and DFT. So we have seen that how the DTFT can be represented. So the first expression is nothing but the DTFT. Just now we have seen, that is the DTFT can be represented as x of omega summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega n. Now in this case, omega is nothing but 2 pi k by n, and n are the number of samples. So what we are going to do to calculate or to state the expression for DFT, we are going to consider only n number of samples. That means DFT will be ranging from 0 to n minus 1. So total n samples, which was in case of DTFT, it was minus infinity to plus infinity. That means this is for infinite sequence. Now we are going to take it for finite sequence. So that's why DFT will run from n is equal to 0 to n minus 1. That is only for n samples. So in this case, if you see, in case of DTFT, your x of omega, that is the output, was continuous, whereas x of n, the input sequence, was in discrete in nature. So same is the case in case of DFT. So this DFT can be used in numerical computations or fast convolution or spectrum analysis, as we are going to consider only finite number of samples. So similar to DFT, we can write the expression for IDFT as well. So as we have seen that this is the expression for your DFT, where x of k is discrete and x of k is continuous and x of n is discrete. So inverse of that, you can write IDFT. X of n can be given as 1 upon n, because you are going to consider it for n samples, summation x of k e to the power j 2 pi k n upon n. Now in this case, again the polarity will be reversed. Here plus sign will come. As we are going to consider the finite sequence, so your x of k will also be a finite length. So these are the two expressions for DFT and IDFT for k or n running from 0 to n minus 1, that is n samples. So that's why it is called as n-point DFT. Now, what is the twiddle factor? So the concept of twiddle factor, which can be denoted as Wn, which is periodic in nature. So by using this twiddle factor, we can simplify the expression for DFT. So instead of substituting e to the power minus j 2 pi by n as Wn, so that is nothing but your twiddle factor. So Wn can be given as Wn k plus n, so that k plus n is equal to k, because twiddle factor will be periodic in nature. So substituting the value e to the power minus j 2 pi by n as Wn, we will get DFT x of k is equal to summation n runs from 0 to n minus 1 x of n Wn raised to kn. So this will be the simplified form of DFT using twiddle factor instead of writing e to the power minus j 2 pi by n. So similar to DFT, you can write IDFT as well in terms of twiddle factor, which will look like this. Now in case of twiddle factor of DFT, you have a positive sign Wn raised to power positive kn. So obviously this sign will reverse in IDFT, that will become negative. Now let us see the computation of DFT by matrix method. So that can be given as x of k is equal to Wn, that is the matrix of twiddle factor, into x of n. So this x of k can be represented as x of 0 to x of n minus 1, which will be n by 1 matrix. This Wn can be represented as n running from 0 to n minus 1, k running from 0 to n minus 1. So this will be your n by n matrix of Wn, and x of n, that is the input sequence, will be small letter x. So x runs from 0 to n minus 1. So this will also be n by 1 matrix. So by multiplying this Wn matrix to input sequence x of n matrix, we will get DFT, that is the x of k by matrix method. And we can write DFT and IDFT in terms of matrix method as x of k will be Wn into x of n. Similarly, x of n, that is the reverse, IDFT can be given as 1 upon n Wn transpose, that's why this star will come, into x of k. Now 4 bar 4 matrix, that is n is equal to 4, your n and k will run from 0 to 3. So this is a representation of 4 by 4 DFT matrix. So to calculate the each values, we can take a values n running from 0 to 3, also k running from 0 to 3. If you substitute those values and calculate, then you will get the values from 0 to 9 for entire matrix, and you can substitute those values and you will get this 4 by 4 DFT matrix. Now how to remember or how to recall this 4 by 4 DFT matrix values? So there is an easy trick to remember 4 by 4 DFT matrix by using a circle. So if you consider a circle and put the values like W4 raised to power 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 in clockwise manner, then these three values W4 raised to 0, 4 and 8 will have a same value, that is positive 1. 1, 5, 9 will have a minus j, 2, 6 will have a minus 1 and 3, 7 will have a plus j. So by referring this circle, you can easily write this 4 by 4 DFT matrix. Same is the case with 8 by 8 DFT matrix. If you know this circular diagram, then you will be able to write this 8 by 8 matrix for 12 factor. In this case, n and k will run from 0 to 7 as n is equal to 8. That is the 8 by 8 DFT matrix. Now let us see some DFT properties. So the first one is linearity property. Suppose x1 of n is one of the sequence having a DFT x1 of k and x2 of n DFT is x2 of k. So by adding the coefficients, that is a into x1 of n plus b into x2 of n, its DFT will be a into x1 of k into plus b into x2 of k. So this is a linearity property of DFT. Similarly, the other property, that is the periodicity, that is x1 of n having a DFT x of k, then x of k plus n will be equal to x of k. So this is your periodicity. Then circular time shift, that means the DFT of x of n will be x of k, that we have seen that summation of x of n into e to the power minus j 2 pi nk by n. Now circular time shift means if instead of x of n it is x of n minus m, so that minus m will be multiplied in the numerator, that the n instead of n it will be m. So both will have a same DFTs. Similarly, circular frequency shift. So if x of n DFT is x of k, so x of n into e to the power j 2 pi mn by n, its DFT will be x of k minus m. Now this is having a positive m sign, so that will come as a negative if you calculate the DFT of that. And the last one is circular convolution. So if you convolution of x1 of n to x2 of n, then the DFTs will be multiplied with each other. So this is a circular convolution property, that is x1 of n circularly convoluted with x2 of n. The final result will be x1 of n into x2 of k. So the final x3 of k can be written as multiplication of x1 of k, that is the DFT of first sequence into DFT of second sequence. Now let us see circular convolution, which consists of two types, concentric circle method and matrix multiplication method. Let us start with the first method, that is the concentric circle method. Consider that you have a one sequence x1 of n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas the second sequence x2 of n is equal to 4, 1, 1, 2. Now, what will be your step 1? Consider one circle and substitute the values of first sequence x1 of n in anti-clockwise direction. So let us start to substitute. The first one, that is x1 of 0, will be placed here. Anti-clockwise, so x1 of 1, x1 of 2 and x1 of 3. So this is your first step. In second step, what you have to do, considering the second sequence, which is highlighted in red color, you have to put it in clockwise direction. So x2 of 0, x2 of 1, x2 of 2 and x2 of 3. So in first case you have substituted the values in anti-clockwise fashion. In second case, second sequence, you have substituted the values in clockwise manner. Remember that these two 0 values, that is x1 of 0 and x2 of 0, should coincide on each other. So that should be on one point. Then step 3, now you have to put the values. So let us substitute the values. We have seen that in anti-clockwise fashion, first sequence, in clockwise fashion, second sequence. So how to substitute them? 1, 2, 3, 4 in anti-clockwise and 4, 1, 1, 2. That will be clockwise. So in this way, we have substituted the values. Now let us try to solve it. So step 4 will be multiply the samples and add it. Now y of n can be calculated as x1 of n circularly convoluted with x2 of n. So y of 0 will be 4 into 1. What is to be done? Multiply the samples and add it. So 4 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 1 plus 4 into 4. That will be 15. So that will be your first step, y of 0. Now let us calculate y of 1. So for that, the inner circle values, that means x2 of n, will be shifted by 1. So in previous step, if you see, your 4 was placed here. Now it is shifted here. So you are shifting it in anti-clockwise direction. So now y of 1 can be given as, again multiply it, 1 into 1, 4 into 2, 3 into 2 and 1 into 4. That will be 19. Now the 4 is here. Again shift it anti-clockwise by 1. So your 4 will come here. That will be your next step. Like this, shifted the sequence. So y of 2 can be given as 1 into 1, 2 into 1, 3 into 4 and 2 into 4. So that will be again 19. And the last step, that is y of 3, again shift the sequence. That will be given by 23. So your final output will be y of n will be equal to y of 0, 1, 2, 3. So that can be given as this. So this will be your final sequence. Now if one of the sequence is having the shorter length, that means your x1 of n is having 4 length, but x2 of n is having only 2 samples in one sequence. So it is having a shorter length. So in that case, what you have to do? You have to do 0 padding. That means in the second sequence, add 2 zeros at the end. And then by using the same method, that is the circular convolution, concentric circle method, solve the example. Now this is assignment. Try this at your home. Let us see the second example or second method, that is the matrix method. So in this, if x1 of n and x2 of n are given, then y of n can be calculated as circular convolution of x1 of n and x2 of n. So how to write it in matrix fashion? Y of n can be given as y of 0 to n minus 1. x1 of n can be given as, this is a matrix method, this is a circular convolution method. So the sequence that is in the last will go on top. Again, x of n minus 2 will be your last for the second column, that will go in top. So you are going to circularly change the values or places of the last sequence. So in this way you can form this matrix x1 of n, and you have to convolute it with x2 of n, that is your second sequence. So reform the first sequence in such a matrix method and multiply it or circularly convolute it with second sequence. You will get the final y of n. Now let us see one of the example. So x1 of n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 1. x2 of n is equal to 4, 3, 2, 2. Now y of n can be given as the 4 points are there, samples are there in one sequence, and x2 of n also consists of 4 samples. So y of n will also have a value of 4. So y of 0, 1, 2, 3, which can be given as, now you are going to write the matrix for x1 of n. So that will look like this. So the last value will come up and then rest all the values. Again the last value will come up, rest all the values. So in this fashion you have to form this x1 of n into x2 of n. So after multiplying you will get final answer as 17, 19, 22 and 19. So that will be your answer. Now let us see the computation of linear convolution using circular convolution. If x1 of n and x2 of n are two different sequences, then consider that L1 is equal to length of x1 of n and L2 is equal to length of x2 of n. Now the linear convolution will have a length y of n is equal to L1 plus L2 minus 1, whereas in case of circular convolution the length of y of n will be maximum of L1 or L2. Let us see the example of linear convolution. Suppose x1 of n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 1. Now in this case, what is the L1? Length of x1 is 4. So that's why your L1 will be 4. And your x2 is 1, 1, 1. That means L2 is equal to 3. So appending zeros to both the sequence to make the length of both as a 6. Why? Because length of y of n in linear convolution will be L1 plus L2 minus 1. So your L1 is 4, L2 is 3. So 4 plus 3, 7 minus 1, 6. So we will make length of both sequences as a 6. So appending zeros, now L1 and L2 has become 6. By circular convolution, if we calculate the y of n of this sequence, then you will get the answer as 1, 2, 3, 1, 0, 0. That is your x2 of n, and reforming the first sequence. So for simplification of the calculation, what I have done, I have rearranged the x2 matrix like this, and x1 matrix I have written as it is. You can take any matrix and then multiply, you will get this final answer. If you try the same method by using linear convolution, you will get the same answer. So this is how you can get answer of y of n for circular as well as linear convolution. And the last topic, that is the linear filtering. So linear filtering is necessary to remove the noise present in the signal. Suppose x of n is a signal and h of n is your impulse response, then filtered output will be given by y of n is equal to multiplying the input sequence x of n by impulse response h of n, which can be written as y of n is equal to summation x of k h of n minus k. But practically the length of x of n is very large due to the high sampling rate. So it is difficult to calculate it using the conventional methods. Consider the example that you are eating a pizza. So if you have one pizza, you cannot eat it. What you do for that? You break it into pieces and then you can easily eat those pieces, right? So similarly, in this case also, the length of our input sequence x of n is very large. So we will break y of n into smaller blocks of size n to compute each block separately. So appending all the blocks to each other and getting the final output y of n by two methods. The one of the method is overlap save method and other is overlap add method. Let us start with the first method, that is overlap save method. So in this we are going to consider some notations. We are going to break the sequence into smaller blocks of length n. So f will be the length of full x of n sequence, n will be the length of each smaller block, capital M will be the length of your impulse response, that is h of n, and L will be the values of current xi of n. Now, in this overlap save method, the n length sequence will be formed by using m minus 1 plus L technique. Now let us see what is that. So capital N is equal to m minus 1 plus L. To form n length sequence, that is smaller block, let us start with the step 1. So your x of n will be given as this, x of 0, 1, 2, 3. How to get x1 of n? What you are going to do? M minus 1 plus L. So block will be taken as it is, x of 0 to x of 3. That is the n size block, and 0, 0, 0 will be added, that is m minus 1. Now similarly x2 of n can be given as, now m minus 1 samples will be taken from the x1 of n from the previous one, and you will append the remaining n blocks from the original sequence, and x3 of n can be calculated as taking m minus 1 sample again and appending L samples. So here it should be L. So m minus 1 plus L, total sequence will be your n. Now you have x1 of n, x2 of n, x3 of n, that is the smaller blocks of sequence. We are going to convolute it with impulse response. So that is your step 2. Now circular convolution of x of n, that is your input sequence, and h of n, that is impulse response, that will give you output y of n. So y1 of n will be x1 of n into circular convolution with h of n. Similarly x2 of n and x3 of n. And step 3 will be, now discard the first m minus 1 values from each blocks and append the rest. So y1 of n, you will write it over here. You will discard m minus 1 blocks and you will take rest all the blocks, L blocks, as it is to form your y1 of n. y2 of n, again discard first m minus 1 blocks, take remaining block as it is. And y3 of n, discard m minus 1 initial blocks and take rest of the sequence as it is, and appending all these pink color blocks, you will get your final y of n. Now let us see the same thing with the help of example. The last step is nothing but you can verify the result whether it is correct or not by performing the linear convolution. Let us start with the example. Consider x of n sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and your impulse response h of n is 1, 0 and 2. Now as we have decided all the notations, let us write the values for it. The full length f is equal to 7, m will be 3, impulse response is having 3 samples, so m minus 1 will be your 2. Let us take n is equal to 5, so your L will be n minus m minus 1, so that will be 3. So this is a total n sequence which will consist of 2 m minus 1 blocks and 3 L blocks. Now substitute the values. Your x of n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? How to write x1 of n? By overlap save method, that m minus 1 samples that will be appended. So 2 zeros, m minus 1, your m minus 1 is 2. So 2 zeros will come, and your L is 3. So 3 samples will be taken as it is. So first sequence x1 of n will be 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly x2 of n. Now you are going to take these two values 2, 3 and rest 3 samples from the original sequence. So x2 of n will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. x3 of n will be 5, 6, 7, and now 2 places are vacant, so append zeros over there. So in this way you will get 3 sequences, x1 of n, x2 of n and x3 of n. Now circular convolution with impulse response. So in that case you have got x1 of n, x2 of n, x3 of n. You are going to convolute with h of n. So let us make the length of h of n similar to x1 of n, 2 of n and 3 of n. So that will be 5. Append 2 zeros. it will give you y1 of n, 2 of n and 3 of n. Now, how to get the final y of n by using these three values? For that, the last step, that is discard the first m minus 1 values from each block and append the rest. So y1 of n will be 4, 6, 1, 2, 5, right? That we have calculated just now. We are going to discard first m minus 1 values and we will take 1, 2, 5 as it is. y2 of n, again discard first two values 12 and 15 and take 8, 11, 14 as it is. And y3 of n, discard 5, 6, take 17 to 14 as it is. So your final y of n will look like this. So this is the answer of your final y of n, which is by calculated by overlap save method. Now, to verify whether this answer is correct or not, what we can do? We can perform the linear convolution and find x of n and h of n and find whether you are getting y of n same or not. But if both the answers are same by overlap save method and linear convolution method, that means you have done it rightly. Other method is overlap add method. So in this method, again we are going to use the same notations, only the difference is that in case of overlap add method, we are going to consider L block first and then m minus 1. In previous class, it was m minus 1 plus L. In this case, first we will consider L block and then m minus 1. Let us start with the overlap add method. Step 1, write down x of n like this. Now how to write x1 of n? We will write first L block, so first 3 and then append m minus 1 zeros. Similarly, x2 of n, take next 3, append m minus 1 zeros, and x3 of n again same. So in this way you will break your x of n into smaller blocks. Now the second step, that is circular convolution with impulse response. So same thing, now you have got x1 of n, x2 of n and x3 of n. Circularly convolute it with h of n to get a y1 of n, y2 of n and y3 of n. Now you have all three sequences. So step 3 will be overlap and add last m minus 1 values. How to write that? y1 of n you write as it is and writing y2 of n and y3 of n. Now to get y of n final sequence, what you will do? Take the pink color block, that means the first L sequence as it is, and m minus 1 values, that is the last m minus 1 samples will get added in next sequence and you will get these two values. Again, till here you will get it as it is. The last m minus 1 values will get added in next sequence to get the final answer. So in this way you will calculate the y of n by overlap add method. That means you are overlapping the sequence and adding it. Let us take one example and understand it in better way. So again, final you can do linear convolution and verify the result. That will be your last step. Let us see the example of overlap add method. Considering the same example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, h of n will be 1, 0, 2, and by referring the notations which we have decided, we will calculate all these values. F is equal to 7, m will be again 3, so m minus 1 will be 2. Considering n is equal to 5 and L is equal to 3. Start with the first step. How to write x of n? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now x1 of n will be, we will consider first L. So your L is equal to 3. Take 3 samples, 1, 2, 3 and append m minus 1 zeros. So your m minus 1 is 2. So 2 zeros will be appended. Second sequence, take remaining 3 values 4, 5, 6, append m minus 1 zeros. x3 of n, take remaining 7. Now we want L length, that is 3. So we will append 2 more zeros and append m minus 1 zeros at the end. So in this way you will get x1 of n, x2 of n and x3 of n. Now the second step, that is the circular convolution with impulse response. So circularly convoluting x1 of n, 2 of n and 3 of n with h of n, you will get y1 of n, y2 of n, y3 of n, these three values. Once you have got y1 of n, y2 of n and y3 of n, what you can do? How to get the final y of n? Now overlap and add. So 1, 2, 5, 4, 6. These 1 to 5 will come as it is, and you are going to add this 4 and 6, that is m minus 1 values in next sequence. Let us first write y of n, y2 of n and y3 of n as this. Now to calculate the final y of n, this 1 to 5 will come as it is, and the last m minus 1 value will get added in the next sequence. So 4 plus 4 will be 8, 6 plus 5 will be 11. That will be your next samples. 14 will come as it is. Now again for the next sequence, m minus 1 values will get added in y3 of n. So 10 plus 7 will be 17 and 12 plus 0 will be 12. This 14 will come as it is. So your final sequence y of n will be 1, 2, 5. Now 4 plus 4 will be 8, 6 plus 5 will be 11, 14 as it is, 10 plus 7, 17 and 12 plus 0, 12, 14 as it is. So in this way, by overlapping and adding, you will get the final y of n. So that's why it is called as overlap and add method. Whatever sequence or whatever output y of n you have got, you can verify it by using linear convolution. If you are getting the same values, then your method is correct. You have done it rightly. So this is all about the overlap save and overlap add method, in which you do linear filtering of your input sequence x of n by convoluting it with h of n, that is your input filter response. So this is all about the second unit. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe and happy e-learning.